Movie theatres are being overtaken by OTT platforms for their seamless and convenient viewing experience. Taking on the evolution and growth of over-the-top services is the Vice President of Amazon Prime Video, Gaurav Gandhi. In an interview with WION's tech correspondent, Ankit Tuteja, listen in to what he had to say.
When it comes to OTT, the Indian market is getting more and more competitive by the day. What do you think Amazon is planning to do to get a strong foothold in the competitive Indian OTT market that is right now dominated by other players?
I think everything we do at Amazon and Prime Video is customer backwards. We are very focused on the fact that we have a large base of audiences who watch us, customers who are Prime members, and many who will be as we go forward. And we have to entertain and delight them with our program overall and our content. So one of our basic things we look at is the fact that we program for the country broadly. We program in 10 languages. We bring in the best of global and local stories and shows and movies. We're deeply invested in local content, not just in Hindi, but in multiple languages. We are deeply invested in getting cinema and movies across the board to audiences. The fact is, there is such amazing amount of cinema being created in this country, movies being created, and there is a shortage of screens, and audiences are sort of not able to get everything in theaters at the time they want to. So therefore, Prime Video plays a very important role with the filmmakers and the industry to get these movies and to customers, homes and on the screens. We're playing a very important role as well, is to expanding what we call the overall segment size for our creators as well, and giving choice to customers. I think Prime Video plays a key role in the fact that the linguistic palette of the Indian customers today expanded quite broadly. We see 50% of our audience actually watching content in more than 4 languages, which basically means is no longer is a movie only for a segment or its home state. It is watched very broadly. We're also able to give all of this content around the world and make sure our stories are available in more than 240 countries and territories, which, as an example, we are actually able to, we already see that 20% of our customers of our originals that we make in India come from outside the country. Films get global reach. So I think we bring a lot from the industry and a lot for the customers, and that's why customers are absolutely loving us, and it's demonstrated in the growth Prime and Prime Video has had over the last almost 6 years now.
As we understand that content is the king, no OTT platform can survive for too long without good content. So how do you think content will evolve in the months or years to come when it comes to OTT?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think there are 2 different lenses there. The first lens is about the creative ecosystem and how that's evolving. And honestly, we are a 5 or 6 year old industry when it comes to original series creation. India never actually had premium pay TV in that sense, and a lot of that was there in the West, and we were on our television series were a different format and different kind. So as we and other streamers started creating original stories and original series, they quickly became world class, and we've seen examples of our shows like Family Man or Mirzapur being loved across the board, not just in India but around the world. But then you also see the fact that these, the number of creators who got into it and how quickly they're able to do this, not just in Hindi. We just had an amazing series we released in Tamil called Sodal, which did really well. So I think one of the things which is happening is that as Indian storytellers and technicians and writers create great stories, and not just for one service but across the board, it lifts the entire industry up. So we'll see more and more of that coming up, and we'll see more of that, more languages coming up and expand. Second, back to my point I was making about the fact that the linguistic palette expansion in India and outside is leading to the fact that Indian stories are generally becoming global. And I see the next 4 or 5 years, definitely we'll see several Indian stories pop to actually being big global hits. So I'm very excited about how the industry is going. Last point I would say is that it also impacts a lot on what you call a star today. There are stars who are not the conventional word of stars. They, of course, they are superstars anyways right now, but they're superstars also of coming from streaming, who are new talent that's emerging, who become so popular around the world and in people's houses, and the characters live over years with you in various seasons. So that's also changing the face of how stories are being told and the faces on screen who are behind the stories.